Does anyone else's like nail hurt at the bottom here sometimes? Like it's just like dry as shit and it just, I don't know. It just like, it doesn't, it hurts like a hangnail, but it's like on the bottom of your nail. So it can't be a hangnail. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, I just graduated college this weekend, so that means I'm currently not a student and I'm not employed. So my job right now is being a full-time content creator and lazy piece of shit. So hopefully I get a career from this, and if not, this is just a fun hobby that I like to do. Now, also, while being unemployed and not a student anymore, that means I have a lot of time on my hands, and I spend a lot of it, A, making content, B, going to the gym, maybe, or C, watching movies on Netflix to review. And the talk of the town all over the world of TikTok and social media is the new Netflix movie that just came out, Leave the World Behind, starring Julia Roberts, Mahershala Ali, Kevin Bacon, and Ethan Hawke. This movie first popped up on my radar, not because I found it on Netflix. It was because it popped up on my TikTok of somebody bitching that the ending didn't live up to their standards, like their opinion mattered, just like I'm doing right now. And that right there is a message. And ladies and gentlemen, this movie in itself tries to tell a lot of messages. This movie dropped on November 22nd, so I guess I'm a couple weeks late to the party, but it feels like it's just picking up popularity at this moment. But to read the synopsis of the film so you understand, a family vacation on Long Island is interrupted by two strangers bearing news of a blackout. As the threat grows, both families must decide how best to survive the potential crisis, all while grappling with their own place in this collapsing world. This movie is directed by Sam Esmail. I believe that's how you pronounce it. It's an eerie kind of horror-like thriller. It's not really action based. It's eerie because of the unknown. And for that, it's shot pretty well. Every actor in the movie does their job to the best of their abilities, and they do a really, really good job of it. And the concept of the movie is interesting enough, and it grasps you and it brings you in because you kind of get pieces of the puzzle, a little bit of breadcrumbs one after another, and they just keep piling on. They're in an Airbnb. The owners of the Airbnb come in. They may know something that our main characters do not, and they're seemingly hiding from or hiding that fact, but it seems like from the basis of the movie, a terrorist group has hacked the satellites of the United States of America, and nobody is in control, but we don't know because we're spending time with this family in this house, in this restricted, inclusive area, and the world is falling apart, and there's no like social media or signal, so we're just getting details from it fed into us little by little. And for that, I applaud the movie for creating this sense of mystery and this sense of eeriness. And something that always creeped me out is the sound of like an Amber Alert or the sound of a national emergency broadcast on a television, that siren that like that's creepy to me because it feels like something bad is coming. And yet we don't know what that is. We just have breadcrumbs that potentially the United States of America is under attack. Maybe the world is under attack. And it potentially nobody's in control. It's a long movie. It's a really long movie, but I feel like it benefits from it in some case because you're sitting around and it's drip feeding you little information, and it's creepy, and it's each moment as the unknown becomes slightly clear, but there's still that important detail that's being left out that you don't know how it's all going to piece together. I applaud the movie for doing that really well. The cast is great. Like I said, every actor in this movie does their job pretty well. I believe it's based off a book. Based off Leave the World Behind by Rumen Alam. I believe that's his name or her name. I don't know. But yeah, the film does a really good job at creating this eeriness and this unknown about it and this creepiness. And I applaud it for that. And that's the best thing about the movie, in my opinion, was the the tension and the theme that they built on. There's a lot of different Easter eggs and hidden messages around this movie that if you watch it back and you're really looking for them, you might find something different from your first time going through and watching the film, which shows me that this movie was done with a pretty fair amount of thought and care behind it. Now, the thing about this movie that people were complaining about the most was the conclusion of the film, and I can understand why. And it's because it's a conclusion that makes you think a little bit more. And that's not why I think people hate the movie. I think it's just because, not hate the movie, but dislike how it ended, which kind of leaves a sour taste in the film because of the feeling of we built up for something for so long and didn't get really any closure. We didn't get that hidden detail. There is no distinctive conclusion and a broader lookout to see what's really going on in the world. We don't get that. And I think that's what rubs people the wrong way. And to be honest, I think it rubbed me the wrong way too, because whenever you have a 2 hour, 30-minute long movie, 2 hour, 40-minute long movie, and it's drip feeding you consistently throughout the movie what's going on, and you're like trying to get to that moment when there's no conclusion behind it, as far as like what you thought or what you wanted to get, I can see why, that might dampen the movie. Now, besides the conclusion, it's definitely not a perfect film. It has flaws. Like I said, it's a really long movie, and sure, the movie benefits because it drip feeds you so long. Again, we didn't get the conclusion we were looking for, but it is really long. Like being longer benefits it, but being really long, there's some negatives there, pacing wise at least. But yeah, it's not a terrible movie. It's halfway decent. I think it's just fine. The conclusion, is it upsetting? Sure. But again, I think it's just upsetting because we just didn't get the answer that we really wanted to, and there's no resolution in that, I guess. But I thought that they did some good things in this film that were pretty good. And again, I thought that there was negatives. I think that it's just not a perfect movie. I think it's just a fine movie. And I definitely recommend you check it out, formulate an opinion for yourself. But I would give Leave the World Behind, Netflix's Leave the World Behind, probably a 6 out of 10. Why not? Sure. That seems fair. Yeah, 6 out of 10. Yeah. Anyways, Merry Christmas, everyone. Peace, love, adios.